This is a true story, painstakingly documented by Japanese urban legend researchers and seasoned ghost hunters. I'm Yuko Hayashida, accompanied by Kenji Nakamura, and we traveled deep into the forests of Kanagawa Prefecture, drawn to an abandoned building known only as the schoolhouse where dozens of children perished in a fire. Locals refuse to approach its gates. Terror reigns within the crumbling walls. After interviewing eyewitnesses and gathering ritual testimonies under midnight lantern glow, this is our account of what we found, and what still lingers. In the shadow of mist-draped hills in Kanagawa lies a silent ruin. Once a small asylum school, now nothing more than charred beams, broken desks, and echoes of laughter that should no longer exist. We begin at dusk. The perimeter fence is rusted, warning signs in Japanese exhausted by rot. Keep out. Beyond it, the main building tilts as if bowing under centuries of sorrow. We push open the heavy iron gate. Its hinges protest like the despairing cry of a child. We are not alone. Somewhere inside something watches. Flashback of event night. Decades ago, a horrific fire ravaged this asylum schoolhouse. Official records mention only an accidental blaze, but survivors among the villagers speak of a fire that consumed dozens of young inmates in the dead of winter. Desks melted, children's screams locked into the walls. No trace of most students was ever recovered. Local folklore insists the souls never left. Witnesses speak of phantom laughter, indistinct giggles drifting between broken corridors. Flick glimpses of tiny figures in sailor-style uniforms, dragging books across scorched floors. At times, lights, once bulbs and lanterns, flicker to life only to shatter the instant you raise your flashlight. We reach the main hallway. Chunks of plaster hang like shredded paper. Sunlight trickles through shattered windows, dust motes dancing in its beam. We place tape over our microphones and whisper because here every sound echoes. The corridor hums with something unnatural. Our first witness, Mr. Tanaka, an older gardener who lived nearby. He described hearing children calling "sensei" in the dead of night. One night he followed the hollow voices. It led him to a locked classroom. Inside, in the gloom, he says he saw desks rearranging themselves, forming a circle. No wind, no unseen hand. Then he fled. Our second witness, Miss Sato, a teenage urban explorer. She ventured here on a dare. She says, "The laughter started behind me. I turned and saw a school bag slung over a small shoulder, bouncing slightly. I screamed and it vanished." These are not isolated stories. Researchers, including ourselves, have documented over 30 credible accounts of psychic disturbance. Visitors falling ill, suffering nightmares, even fainting inside. At one door we place a small incense offering. "Purify the space," they said. The flame sputtered out. Behind us, the faint echo of children chanting a forbidden rhyme. No one else present. We hurried out. Inside, the classrooms are frozen in time. Desks covered in soot, blackened textbooks opened in mid-lesson. On one chalkboard, half legible, "Don't forget the fire drill tomorrow," a cruel irony. Beneath, scribbled in a child's shaky handwriting, "I'll save them." We take photographs. In one image, a desk casts a shadow that shifts while we stand still, captured only in the print. In a corner room, once used for isolation, we uncover charred remnants of a toy piano. We pressed a key, silence. Yet after we left, technicians playing back the audio from our body cams reported hearing a faint melody, delicate and sorrowful, as if children were still seated, tapping ivory keys in the dark. We camped overnight under the school's skeleton roof. At 2:13 a.m., the temperature plunged. Our thermometers spiked and dropped erratically. Our EVP recorders captured voices. A child whispering, "Oh bake, ghost." Another giggling, then crying, "Find us, help." A resonance of dozens of tiny footsteps pacing just outside our tents. No prank. No wind. We reviewed video. Small lights, glowing orbs, thread through corridors then explode in sudden darkness. Could be ball lightning or atmospheric ghost lights as described in Japanese lore. Haidodama, wandering spirits that drift through thick humidity, drawn to sites of trauma. As dawn breaks behind the trees, painting skeletal walls in gray light, we depart, but not untouched. The laughter follows us. The cries linger. The morning light filters through the overgrown courtyard of the Asylum school. The ruin looks less foreboding in daylight, but in its shadows lie secrets, etched into scorched floors and charred walls. We return to the site, seeking concrete proof, names, dates, and witnesses to the tragedy. Local records and archives. In the Municipal Archive of Kanagawa City, buried under decades-old registers, we find the school's operational records. They show: school opened in 1928 as a small asylum for children unfit for mainstream education. In January 1965, a massive fire broke out in the middle of the afternoon, officially ruled accidental electrical fault. But between the lines, 32 children officially declared missing, presumed dead, no bodies recovered. 15 survivors hospitalized with severe burns and shock. After the tragedy, the school canceled classes and shuttered within weeks. The building was left intact, untouched, a grim tomb. We photographed the documents under dim reading lamps. Names are smudged, dates overwritten. Desperate parents signed forms but vanished soon after. Their names struck through in red ink. Survivor interview of Mrs. Mizuki. We locate Mrs. Mizuki, now in her 70s, one of the few survivors. She speaks in whispers, eyes distant. We had just finished lunch. I remember the smell of burned soup. I turned, and everything exploded. Her voice cracks. She describes corridors collapsing, children crushed under beams. She escaped through a side window, seeing flames licking through wooden rafters. I heard their screams, not just fear but faith. They believed someone would come. She recalls the children's names: Sakura, Daichi, Miho, Kenta, all missing, never found. Their desks still had notebooks, their penmanship, test scores unread. We ask if she ever felt them afterward. She shivers. I dream every night. Children in uniform lining up. A voice, help us. They point to the fire exits in the walls, but I can't see a door. At dusk, we return to the schoolhouse. A local spiritual medium, Nakamura-san, sets up incense before the burnt-down entrance. He insists the place is around Tsuno no Kyoku, horned memory, a spiritual echo imprinted in wood and brick. He closes his eyes. Facial muscles twitch. Within minutes, he stammers. They call me Sensei. Where are we? Why did the roof fall? Too hot. Find Sakura. She is lost. His readings correspond with survivors' names and our archival list. After 20 minutes, he slumps, exhausted, pale-faced, crying for help. We guide him away before he collapses entirely. We conduct thermal and electromagnetic field scans inside rooms once used for classes and isolation. Findings: several cold spots, Temperature drops of 8 to 10 degrees Celsius compared to outside persist even in midday heat. EMF spikes, around 2.8 mg in one classroom, surging to 4.2 mg near the old chalkboard. In that space, the recording picks up a child's voice whispering, "Sakura." Low, echoed, impossible to explain by stray radio interference. Late at night, between walls crimsoned by soot, small orbs of pale light drift in the hallways. Hidodama, atmospheric ghost lights said to manifest near sites of death in Japanese folklore. We record them, translucent spheres hovering, merging, then erupting into darkness. Each orb feels cold to the touch of the night air. Our thermal camera shows nothing, only emptiness where the light glows. One orb lingers near the stairwell, then resolves into a tiny figure. Uniform visible, book bag slung low. It lowers its head, vanishes. Our EVP device records a faint melody, children humming in unison, but broken as if interrupted. In the nearby village we collect gossip, hushed stories. Farmers talk of disappearances near the woods at night. Children sent home from nearby schools would vanish, sometimes reappear wandering silent, eyes blank. One elder claims the land around the school is cursed. Unexplained fires in rice fields, sudden storms, malfunctioning machinery, they blame it on the unsettled spirits. These oral histories match names in the archives and aura readings around the school. The truth emerges. What documentary records called an accidental fire carries all the hallmarks of a tragic, systemic failure: poor wiring, overcrowded dormitories, ignored warnings, and corrupted oversight. The souls lost, 32 children, left no bodies but left memories marked in the wood, imprinted in the earth. Inside the largest classroom we find charcoal, likely from the fire, still clinging to desk surfaces. Under UV light, faint etchings appear. "Sakura forever friend." "Daichi, where am I?" "Look, sensei is coming." We photograph, catalog, and match these with student records. Cherry blossom drawings hover near the inscriptions, Sakura's namesake. We spend another night at the school. At exactly 3:07 a.m. alarms. Flash of intense heat as if ignition, but outside nothing burns. Shrieking laughter rises from hallways. Doors slam. The temperature spikes to 45 degrees Celsius for 30 seconds, then falls to sub-zero. Our thermograph screams. Then silence. But on playback we hear. Chorus of children. "Sensei. Sensei, help." We flee at dawn, each trailing a grim resolve. This is the final chapter in our investigation. What began as a search for answers in the ruins of a forgotten school has spiraled into something darker, something deeper than history or legend. The schoolhouse in Kanagawa was not simply the site of a fire. It was a prison of silence, neglect, and perhaps something far more sinister. The school's original floor plans, found in the city's decaying planning office, showed something we'd never seen in our earlier visits. A sealed-off sublevel listed only as Utility Floor B1. We returned, armed with sledgehammers and respirators. Behind the mess hall's collapsed wall, under layers of burned floorboards, we found a steel trapdoor rusted shut. After 3 hours of digging and drilling, we cracked it open. A metal stairwell descended into a world of ash and shadows. Every step creaked like a groan. The air was dense, choked with mold and something else. The smell of scorched fabric and old wax. The underground chamber was not a utility floor. It was a ritual room. Charred tatami mats arranged in a circle. A child's wooden chair at the center. On the wall, paper talismans, warding symbols burned at the edges, meant to trap spirits. Incense bowls, long cold, crusted with blood-like residue. A diary, pages partially burned, written in delicate kanji. Excerpt translated. They won't listen. I heard the voice again. She told me the fire must come. It's the only way to free them. The sensei says we must not tell anyone. We are the chosen. I will be brave. Sakura will forgive me. A child wrote this. Possibly the one who started the fire. We contacted a retired Shinto priest, Kobayashi-sama, who once worked in the region. He was reluctant, visibly distressed when we mentioned the school. The children were special, not just sick or unwanted. Some said they could hear things. The principal was obsessed with purification. She believed the students were born cursed, that they had to be cleansed. He handed us an old shrine record sealed in wax. Inside, a ritual plan called Akai Gakko, the Red School. Symbols indicating containment, not protection. A list of 33 students. Only one name had a red stamp. Ichika Sugiura, the girl who lit the spark. Kobayashi looked us dead in the eyes. That fire was no accident. It was a ritual gone wrong. And the school became its tomb. We gathered spiritual equipment, candles, salt, and sakura blossoms. Beneath the school, inside that ritual chamber, we lit incense and read from the diary. Our medium, Nakamura-san, returned, this time reluctantly. He held a child's photo close to his chest. Seance log, 1:46 a.m. Temperature drops to 5 degrees Celsius. Incense burns sideways. EVP devices spike, overloaded with static. Candles flicker, then extinguish. Nakamura trance. She didn't want to do it, but they made her. She thought fire would purify them. But the door never opened. They were never freed. The walls began to vibrate faintly. Our flashlight caught tiny handprints forming in the soot. One voice emerged clearly, a girl's. I just wanted them to be safe. I didn't know it would trap us here. All of us saw it, through some shared hallucination or residual echo. Children crying behind a locked classroom. Flames licking up the walls, too fast for any real fire. A girl standing alone with a matchstick, crying, whispering, "Forgive me, Sakura." The teacher, locked in prayer, chanting while children banged on the door. Then silence, suffocating heavy. When we came to, Nakamura was unconscious, face pale. On his wrist, burned kanji. Later translation showed guilt. As we fled the sublevel, we saw them. In white chalk, glowing faintly in the dark. 32 names, each a child who had died. At the bottom, one line. I will wait until everyone is free. Ichika. The final name, hers, was not faded. It was fresh as if just written. We left Kanagawa at dawn, physically unharmed, but something follows. Since that night, Kenji reports waking up to children's voices outside his apartment in Tokyo. I found a schoolbook, singed at the edges, on my porch. Inside a note, "Sensei, we remember." Our footage, glitched, warped. Audio distorted. But every so often you can hear them, singing that broken lullaby. We contacted 2 local Buddhist monks. They refused to visit the site. One simply said, "Some places are meant to be forgotten. But some children don't forget." We tried to bring peace. But peace did not want us. The fire may have started in 1965, but it still burns, trapped in wood, ash, and memory. The schoolhouse in Kanagawa remains a scar in the earth, and the children remain trapped in an eternal lesson, waiting, watching, calling for a teacher that will never return. If you visit and you hear laughter behind the doors, don't answer, don't turn around, and never, ever say their names aloud, because once they know you're listening, they follow.